And say welcome to all who are joining us today for our mindfulness meditation session. My name is Denise Compton. I am a neuropsychologist here in the longevity clinic of UAMS. And these are a series of meditation sessions that involve a bit of introduction about what are called the fundamental attitudes that we bring to our mindfulness practice. We are using the model that has been set forth by Jon Kabat-Zinn. And so he has set forward 7 fundamental attitudes that he encourages us to bring to our mindfulness practice. And the one we're going to talk about today is called nonjudging. Nonjudging. So, what I like to say is that we human beings are judging machines. We are constantly making judgments about things all day, every day. And sometimes that's a good thing. You know, we need to be able to do that, to make judgments about things that guide our behavior and so on. However, like most any other thing, you know, what can be a good thing can also be overdone and actually become destructive. And I think at times we can be hurtful or harmful with our judgments. So we're judging all kinds of things, right? We're judging our own behavior and the behaviors of other people around us. Are things meeting our expectations or our standards? Are we personally measuring up? Are we good enough, so to speak? Sometimes we're making judgments about things that perhaps are frightening to us. Is something going to be hurtful to us or harmful to us? And so in our own minds, we are constantly commenting on our own behavior, the behavior of other people and situations. There's kind of a constant chatter of commentary going on as we make these kinds of judgments. And sometimes part of what we're judging are not only our behaviors, but also our kind of mental activities. So we may judge our own thoughts or our own feelings. And so from time to time you might hear yourself saying, I shouldn't think this way, or I shouldn't feel this way. It's wrong to think or feel this way. And to push it even one step further, another thing we may likely judge is our ability to meditate. So it is a very common phenomenon that people come to meditation for the first time or two and quickly make the judgment that they just can't do this right. I just can't do it, you know, and people will have that expectation of completely clearing their minds of every and all thoughts. That their mind is supposed to be blank when they meditate, and if they don't do that, then they do it wrong. And they're just very critical, and they just give up right away. So one of the things that we want to encourage you to do is to set aside that judging for a little while. In the context of meditation, we bring this attitude of non-judging. And just let things be how they are for a little while. There's a kind of an interesting metaphor, which is that of setting down a heavy suitcase, right? So if we think about all those harsh judgments as being kind of a heavy burden sometimes, we can perhaps set it down for a short while. We can always pick it back up again when we think we need to. But in the practice of meditation, to try to have it your intention to notice when your mind automatically goes to that kind of critical commentator. You know, you're not doing this right, this is no good, I can't do it, I'm hopeless. Any of that kind of judging sort of activity. When you notice that going across your mind, just think, notice, and let that go. Or like the suitcase, see if you can just set that down or set it aside for a while. as you focus on the anchor. So what we have here on the board is kind of a general nutshell description or definition of what mindfulness meditation actually is. And so we're going to have an anchor that we focus our attention on. I'm going to be quiet and still and focused, but also know that our minds will wander. And they may wander in lots of ways and lots of places. And that's normal. It's absolutely normal. And some of the ways that it wanders may be off judging things. And maybe lots of other things too. So when our minds wander away, we just gently let go of those other thoughts and return our attention to the chosen anchor. So, what I'm going to recommend today is that we go to, especially for our beginners, kind of a recommended meditation exercise for beginners, which is the counting breath meditation. Now, anyone who prefers to do another exercise, you're always welcome to do that. If you've come for the first time, but you have another exercise you've practiced somewhere else before, that's fine. Those have been with us for a while. If you prefer another exercise, that's fine too. But what I often recommend to beginners is this counting breath exercise because I think it's a nice one for helping you to focus your attention and kind of facilitates maintaining that focus as we count our breaths. So, in this exercise, each inhale, exhale counts as 1. Inhale, exhale 2, inhale, exhale 3, and so on. So what you're going to do in this exercise is simply count your breaths to 10, then reverse and count backwards to 1. And for the duration of the exercise, you just continue to count your breaths, forwards and backwards, 10 and back. Now, the chances are highly likely that you will lose count. Your mind will wander away from counting your breaths, and that is perfectly normal. So just notice as soon as you're able that that's what's happened, and then without judgment, just gently return your attention to your counting. If you don't know where you left off, just start over at 1. That's not a big deal at all. Okay? So, in order to begin our exercise, we're going to first assume our meditation posture. So we say that we sit with dignity. And part of what that means is sitting with both feet flat on the floor. Your spine will be erect, but not tense, but neither slumped over. Okay? Your face will point forward. And if you're comfortable, in a moment, you'll close your eyes. If you prefer not to close your eyes, and you're going to find just a boring place on the floor, the wall, that won't distract you and help you maintain your focus. Your hands will be resting either on your thighs or cupped in front of you with your palms facing upward. So we will have approximately a 15-minute meditation time. When that time is over, I'll ring these little bells to let you know that it is time to end the meditation practice and return your attention to this room. All right? So, go ahead and assume your meditation posture. Determine what you will use as your anchor, either the counting breath exercise or some other that you choose. When you're ready, close your eyes. Begin to focus your attention on that anchor. When your mind wanders, just notice with interest and curiosity, but without judgment, and then return your attention to the anchor. So it's time to kind of return our attention to the world around us. Make sure that everyone is awake. I think so. All right, so at the end, we'd like to take just a few minutes to debrief the exercise, see if anybody has any questions, any comments to share about this exercise, or yes.
You talked about the hands being palms. That's uncomfortable. Is it okay to do it palms?
Sure. Sometimes the open palms is recommended just kind of as a posture of openness, but certainly be comfortable. What else? Please feel free to share, because you usually help other people as well as yourself if you have anything on your mind. Yes?
I found that I was having to start over and over.
Starting over a lot today.
So I decided I'd not judge and just let my mind go where it wanted to go, and then I would kind of call attention to, okay, there's future planning, and okay, we're recalling, for instance, and labels.
Uh-huh.
Trying to avoid that or go back to one.
Okay. And sometimes that's a nice thing to do, to just be able to say, I think I'd rather do a different form today. That's fine. So you noticed yourself kind of judging when you were having to start over a lot. So I was curious if other people noticed your tendency to judge what you were doing as you were actually practicing. It's kind of nice to just increase our awareness of that, of how often we go into that judgment mode. Yes?
Good for about 12 minutes continuously. After that,
So you were good for about 12 minutes continuously. Oh, that's a pretty long time. And then it became a little more difficult to stay focused, and you began to have to redirect more often. Yeah.
and then I did what she did and started thinking of other things. But, I could get back.
You could what?
I could get back.
You could get back. Okay. All right. Good. Yes.
I was falling asleep. I mean, I don't know if someone else has the feeling or not. I was almost about to fall asleep a couple of times. I had to snap out of it.
Yeah. Okay, so tendency to fall asleep is a fairly common phenomenon also, particularly if you're tired or kind of sleep deprived. You get really still and relaxed, and that's a natural thing to fall asleep. And in fact, I often say many people will use meditation in the evenings prior to bedtime to kind of help prepare for sleep, just kind of calming the mind, relaxing the mind. In this setting, that's not particularly our intention to fall asleep, but you can kind of judge for yourself if that's something you want to do or not. Okay. Yes.
Last time I noticed that I still could keep my counting even though my mind was going somewhere else. And you mentioned that's called double tracking.
Double tracking, yes.
So today what I tried to do is for the numbers that come up, I picture the number.
Okay.
C10,
Okay.
C9, and that helped me.
Good. So you are using some visualization to assist with that, maintaining the focus on the counting breath by visualizing the numbers. That's a nice technique too. You can use that not just with this exercise, but others as well, particularly people who are pretty visually oriented anyway. That's a really nice technique to help. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, pleasure to be with you as always. Have a good rest of the day.